Okay, so this is going to be my full walkthrough, my full guide on how to manually source leads and how to generate leads for your agency. This is super important if you are just starting out or if you are doing your outreach and you're not getting too many results, because one thing people take for granted and they don't actually focus on is the leads that they are sourcing, right? It's the first input into that system. There's a very famous phrase in the programming space, which is garbage in, garbage out, right? Which if you put in garbage, you're going to get garbage out. If you put garbage leads in, you're going to get garbage leads out. And the reason these leads are garbage as such, and your leads might be garbage, but the ones that I source might not be, is simply because yours are overused. Yours have been used time and time again. Maybe they're a bit old. Maybe they're used from scraping sites like D7 or some old Facebook group or something like that. And this causes massive issues that you don't really see. You never really see it at all. It only really comes to light once you've sourced thousands of leads and you've tried and tested it again and again, and you see the night and day difference between a manually sourced lead that takes quite a while to actually go and find and one that you just scrape off a website or use Apollo or D7 or something like that. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Ben Lister. I help agency owners to save thousands and thousands of hours by doing their outreach actually for them. But yeah, let's just dive into the computer and I'll show you some tactics and some strategies that I have to actually run these systems. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need obviously is a spreadsheet, somewhere we can actually input the information, somewhere we can, collate all the stuff that we find. I know that a lot of people will sometimes put in a spreadsheet like really, really precise information about things that doesn't matter, like how many employees the lead has, how many, where the actual specific location is, things like that, right? But when we are trying to find leads for outreach, the only thing that really matters is the business owner's name, the decision maker's name, the person we're reaching out to, the actual business name itself, the email of the decision maker, and the website, right? Anything else, like maybe a LinkedIn profile or maybe even a phone number if we're going to do emails, it doesn't really matter, right? Obviously we need the phone number if we're going to cold call them, but in terms of emails, those are the four things that we really need. So let's just go in here and put this in, right? So we can put business name, owner, name, okay. And it's always good to put in first name and last name in here like this, simply because when you put in your emails, you don't want to put their full name all the time. And then we can go email and website just like this, right? So super, super simple. And we can actually go and get a formula for this. So let me just go find it. Okay, here we go. So this formula here, if error, split, and then the name of the column next to it, and then this, if you just copy this, it kind of looks kind of complicated. There's just like one space in there. What it does, if I put like Steve Jobs in here, right? It just instantly does it like that. Like I said, this is really helpful because obviously when you put this into other formats and other, if you put it into an email sending software or anything like that, the first name is crucial because we don't want to say, hey, Steve Jobs. We want to say, hey, Steve, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to say his full name the first time we send him an email, the first time we, say, hey, Steve, right? So that's how that works. Okay. So these primarily the only things that we care about. I wouldn't do too much more than this. You don't really need it. Sometimes even the website, you don't really need to save if you want to save yourself a bit of time. Obviously, if you are going to send some kind of personalized email, whether that's a Loom or whether that's some kind of automation that you might be using, then the website can be useful sometimes. But let's go through this then, and I'm going to go through a few different niches today. The first niche I want to go through is real estate, right? So obviously super popular at the moment. A lot of real estate agencies out there doing very well. The best place to find real estate leads manually, of course, is a website called Zillow, in my opinion. Now, if you go straight to Zillow is, if you're in the UK, it's like Rightmove, it's like Zoopla. It's basically where people sell, buy, rent properties, and it seems to be the main one in the US. If we go here and click Agent Finder, what we can find is we can search for almost any agent in the US because almost every agent is on Zillow. And the cool thing is we can actually search by zip code, which is really, really crucial for real estate because obviously real estate agents are located in specific places. They're not nationwide or worldwide. So if we just go in to Google Maps, the way that you find a zip code is like literally just clicking on any random street and it will give you a zip code, okay? But obviously, if I come in here, and I find the zip code of Times Square, there's going to be an awful lot of real estate agents within that area, right? And it's not really something that we want to do simply because if you are lead sourcing for the first time, if you are looking for real estate leads, you're going to go, New York, you're going to go Los Angeles, you're going to go Chicago, you're going to go these major cities, right? And these leads have probably been hit up thousands and thousands and thousands of time, which actually makes the lead quality worse than it should be. Okay, so we're not going to go to New York. I'm going to go to a random state. I'm going to go to, you know, Missouri, and instead of going for Kansas City, which is obviously the major city there, we can go for Springfield, right? Which looks like a pretty, you know, decent sized city. There'll be a lot of real estate agents in here. If we just go to a random street, okay, just this one here, it'll give me a little zip code down here. So it's a 5-digit number, 65804, 65804, and that's all I need to search. I don't need to put a name in, any specialities, any language, anything like that. I can just click that and click enter, and it's going to give me hundreds, if not thousands, of results. Okay, so I think the maximum page you can do is 25 on here, which is quite a lot. And then maybe there's 10 on there, so there's like 250 on here, right? And we can actually filter through speciality if you wanted to. So if you were a specific type of real estate agency where you worked with, you know, buyer agents specifically, then you can target that, right? And what this is going to do is pretty cool, is it will still give you 25 results, 25 pages of results. So you can go right to the bottom, okay? And the reason that we go right to the bottom is because if we go to the very start, right? If I go to the first page again, there will be some agents in here that have hundreds and hundreds of reviews. So like this one here, you know, 568 reviews. This is obviously a group, but even this one here, Michelle, she has 178 reviews. She's probably sold a couple hundred properties in the last 12 months. There you go, 200 properties. If you sent an email to her, she probably gets an email every 10 seconds, right? Like this would be a bad lead in terms of actually, you know, someone being able to sell our service to. And you can see she specifically works in Springfield, right? Which is, you know, pretty niche, but she still has tons and tons of reviews, okay? So if we go back to page 25, obviously you could start from like page 15 and this would still work. Anyone with 0 reviews or a couple of reviews, right? I think maybe going for 0 might not be as good, but obviously you can test that out. Maybe if we go for someone with low reviews, like 5 reviews and, you know, 13 sales in the last 12 months, right? So only 1 sale per month. So if you can guarantee them, if you can promise them a certain amount of sales, 1 extra sale a month or something like that, then you're doubling their business, right? So that's a huge incentive. Whereas someone who has sold, you know, hundreds of properties in the last 12 months, you've got to really, really sell them an awful lot of properties and give them a great service to actually go and give them a service that they care about. Real estate for 7 years, so not really in for it too long, not like an expert that has this huge network. I mean, maybe she does, we obviously don't know, but the chances are it's probably less likely than someone hits at the front page that has, you know, a couple hundred reviews. So 26 for sale, mainly around the Springfield area like we're targeting. What we can do here is a lot of the time, the email will just be on this page or a similar page because they want people to contact them. They want people to see, you know, hey, this property is for sale. I'm interested in knowing a bit more. So they want to put their information out there, right? But if it's not, simple thing that you can do is to just search the name and always put in the speech marks because what that does is it searches for an exact result, and then it's Fathom Realty, okay? And we can search that as a separate one here, okay? And there's a bunch of sites that will come up. Maybe if I search it without actually, this might actually help. Facebook page in here, and there's an email, right? So this is the main thing that we want. Obviously, page is active July 4th, so, you know, we can use this. So you would come in here. So if I put them side by side like this, so I have the spreadsheet on the left and the information on the right, I can simply just come in here and pull this information very quickly. Okay, so with the spreadsheet on the left and the information on the right, I can actually just come in here and take this information. And with business name, you might not need it for real estate. I mean, you can use it. I don't think you'd use it too much in an email because most real estate agents are kind of on their own. They do their own thing. And then website, you could either take a Facebook page or you could come in here and take this one. I don't think that one would be her. Let me just double check. No, I don't think so. So maybe you could take a Facebook page as a website, or you could actually you could use this one as a website. So let's take that. And that is basically how we would do real estate. And obviously Zillow is fantastic because we just have page after page after page, and this is one small town in a huge country, right? And this is before, you know, you can go for Springfield, you can go for Columbia, we can go for, you know, Kirksville, and this is one state in like a 50-state country, right? And, you know, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands, and obviously you could pay a VA to do this, you could, you know, do this yourself if you don't have the cash to do that, and you're going to source an awful lot of leads very quickly, and these are high quality leads, right? These have been manually sourced. It's taken me, you know, a minute to do that there. Obviously I've slowed the process down so I can explain it a bit, and once you actually get into the swing of things and you are doing this again and again and again, you're going to speed this up to the point where you're doing sort of a lead a minute, a lead every 2 minutes, and there's just tons and tons of leads there for you. So that would be real estate, right? Now, let's move on to a industry that I'm familiar with, which is the kitchen remodeling space, right? So home improvement in general. A website that I found that's great for this is BBB, right? Better Business Bureau. So this is basically, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like the Yellow Pages if you're from the UK, where it just has a category of all these different businesses. You can have anything from, you know, from HVAC all the way to kitchen remodels, and there's a whole different, you know, there's so many different industries in here, right? So let's go for kitchen remodel. And again, same strategy. We're not going to go for New York. What we're going to do is we're going to go into maps, and let's go for somewhere in New York State. So let's go for Albany, right? Looks like a decent size. Same strategy with this one, right? So this is going to give you like 5,000, 6,000 results. And what tends to happen here is, even though we've asked for Albany, New York, it's going to give us places that are not specifically Albany, because there's no way there's 6,000 kitchen remodel companies in Albany, right? What we want to do is this section here that says show BBB accredited only. I believe you could only be accredited if you actually pay for the service, if you actually like pay to be on there. You're like a premium one, and it gives you, like a call to action and stuff like that. And this is what the companies pay for, right? But we're not interested in companies that pay for that specifically. We're interested in all companies, really. So if we untick this, we get a lot more results, right? What this page tends to do, what the website tends to do, is it only gives you 15 pages. And I believe the reason for this is because they don't want people to scrape. So no matter how many results you have, if there's a million results here, it would only give you 15 pages, which is like, I think there's 15 on each one. So it works out as like 100 results or something like that. And obviously, these ones at the very top, they might have been hit up quite a lot in the past, again, so not the leads that we're looking for. So what we can actually do is we can just start to add in, different categories, right? So we can add in home improvements, and that's going to actually increase it. So maybe not add improvement. Maybe we can add on basement remodeling as well. So kitchen and basements, right? So this is going to now half the results. And then we can do the actual distance or the state. So if I do the state is New York, I don't know why it gives you the option to do, different states if we're looking for a place in New York. But anyway, if we search for New York, there you go, dropping it down even more. And then distance within 5 miles of Albany. Now we just have 20 results. Right, I've actually removed this. Here we go, 44 results. So in here now, and actually to find these results, for these results to actually come up and so on one of your searches, you have to put in such very specific filters that the chance that someone else puts in these specific filters and actually finds these companies that are at the bottom is very, very low, right? So we only have like a couple of pages of results here, 3 pages. Okay, so if I just come down here, right, we can go for one that doesn't have the BBB accredited thing. We can go for MJH contracting here, and it says visit website here. So we can just click on that. And here is a lead, right? And what we can use is a nice little extension called snov.io, right? If you just Google snov.io, like this, it'll come up. You can create a free account so you can start using this. I actually have a system in play where, because the free account is actually so good on this, what you can do is create free account after free account after free account, and you will never actually have to pay. I think there's a lot of stuff that Snov do that isn't just lead sourcing. They do like, email campaigns and things like that. But for what we're going to be using it for, we can just create free accounts. So when I come into opensnov.io, there normally would be an email here, but because it's not on the domain, I think that these guys would have a Gmail or some kind of email that isn't on the domain. So if I go check, oh no, it is on there. It is on there. There it is. So maybe snov.io is not picking this one up, but obviously, here's the email that we can take, right? If I go and throw it in here, okay, we have the website itself, okay, and we know that the first name is Justin, right? And if you wanted to, and what you can do, so obviously we just have the first name, is you can search for, MJH contracting Justin, and sometimes it will come up. Okay, here we go. So this is for Florida. Is this the right place? I don't think it is it? I think we're in New York, yeah. So if I search Albany, okay, there we go. Justin Hawkins, just like that. And then we can go contracting. And obviously, you might be thinking that this takes a little bit of time, it takes, a bit of effort, but the reason why these leads work so well, and the reason why, my clients' email campaigns and my email campaigns get such good results is that the lead sourcing is above and beyond, right? And this is basically the level that you have to be at. So these are super high quality leads. I think the chance that this company gets regular emails, unless they're on some kind of, mass scraped site, if they're somewhere on D7 or if they're on Apollo Leads or something like that, I think the chance that they are on, the chance that they get tons of emails is very, very low. And this is why it makes the leads so much better than, if you scrape the leads, or if you just pay a VA to use them, or if you just pay a VA and they've used them many different times and they've sold them leads, 50 different times. These leads are completely manual, and basically this is the best way to find leads. Okay, so just to show you how the Snov.io works, I found this website here. When you're on a website, simple website like this, potential lead, if you just click on the Chrome extension, it will drop it down, and then it will just give you the emails from the domain. And the way that it finds these is actually quite clever. It does a search for the internet, and it searches through I think different like email softwares and things like that. So basically now we have an email here that looks like Mitchell someone, and this is probably the business owner, right? Once we have this, what we can do is we can go into the about us section, the reviews, and see if we can find the Mitchell person, right? But if not, obviously we can search for Mitchell Halpier like that, and obviously we need to put Albany in. So if we just search help here and then the location, owner, obviously help here is the name of the business, and then it'll come down with Mitchell W. And once we open this up, it says Mitchell Wackholder. So it looks like that's his name, right? So there's a fair good chance that you could just come in here and you could put Mitchell Wackholder just like this, and you can go and take that email, right? And this is a great, a great lead. A chance that someone's actually gone and use this is pretty low. So these guys probably don't get emailed a lot. They probably don't get cold called a lot. So it would be a very good lead for you to use. Okay, so another way that we can actually go and find emails. Sometimes the emails are not as easy to find on snov.io, but what we can do is we can go to social media pages. Social media page is always a great one, especially Facebook. There'll be one here. I wouldn't use a help email, for example. I would always try to get the business owner's name as a first name. So, you might have, john@helphere.com, something like that, right? And that would probably work a little bit better because that's the actual decision maker's name. Obviously, if John is the guy that owns it, right? And then what you'll also find is a lot of businesses have these sort of these lead marketplace sites. So places, if you're in the home improvement space, you'll know what Angie's List is, different places like this, which I think this is like some kind of directory, and often on here there will be emails and things like that, because the idea is that customers are supposed to use this in order to get in contact with the business. So you can always find some kind of extra information here. There you go, the name of the business owner is there. BBB that we just visited, Angie's List. There's a few different ones here that I'm not too familiar with. LinkedIn is obviously a great one as well. If you go to LinkedIn, go to the about section, oftentimes you will have emails or something like that in here, or just something that we can use to actually contact this person and to make them into a lead. Sometimes what I would like to do as well is if you do like that, so if you search the domain inside of the speech marks, you will get every page that is associated with that domain, right? If we don't use the speech marks, it tends to get a little bit messy. It doesn't actually include the whole thing. What the speech marks actually do is they make sure that the domain, the thing that you're searching for, is the only thing that you're searching for. So if I remove them, it might search for things that have the word com in as well. So if you go through here, there's just page after page after page of different things. They have a podcast apparently. They have all these different things that they've been featured on, and that's where you can actually go and find the information as well. Another great tool you can use as well is Google reviews. Sometimes the business owner name isn't on there, but if you go and you actually look at some reviews, you can see here Mitch and the team, right? Someone else will mention him somewhere. There we go, featured 9 times. So yeah, you can see Mitch. So if their name was nowhere, we couldn't find a Facebook page or a LinkedIn profile for the business owner, we could just have an email saying, hey Mitch, and send it to the general email, because we know that Mitch is probably going to see that because he is the business owner and he seems to be the only person that's mentioned. So it seems to be a bit of a one-man business. Maybe he has some employees, but the main guy that's making the decisions and that's featuring with all the customers is Mitch. So obviously that's the person that we can contact. So yeah, I hope there was a lot of value in this. I hope that you found a ton of different things that you can actually use to go and source your leads. Like I keep saying, this is the most important thing. If you find leads that no one else is finding, it takes a couple of minutes to go and do this. It is so worth your time, right? Because I honestly believe that these leads will give you 4, 5, 6 times the results if you use scraped leads, or if you use leads that have been used thousands of times before. And so if this takes you 5 minutes longer to do it this way, or if it takes you a minute per lead and you do 100 leads in a day, that's less than 2 hours to get results that are 5, 6 times better. I don't think you can get a return on investment for your time like that and anything else. So I just think it's a huge underrated thing when it comes to marketing agencies, when it comes to SMMA. So if you implement this, I know that you are going to get crazy results with your emails and your outreach and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if you are struggling to do your own outreach, if you would like someone to do it for you, that's something that we can actually do. Go ahead and click the first link in the description. It explains how my company actually do that for tons of agencies right now. Obviously you don't have to. If you are fine with your outreach and you just want to watch these videos and get the free content and the free value out of them, then that's completely fine, of course. It doesn't really affect me if you do or not, so I don't really mind. But if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like. Obviously subscribe for more. Going to be producing a lot of videos like this in the future. And if you want me to cover anything specifically that we do in terms of outreach or service delivery or anything like that, just go ahead and comment it and I will be able to get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, appreciate you watching this one all the way to the end. Take care. Cheers.